As you know, Zori, also having more brains in the team was very, very difficult for us to stop at one method. So we propose more methods. We develop as much as we could at this moment. So please accept if it is possible for you in this, let's say, meeting to present 5 ideas. And in the end, we will decide which one we will go further. Okay, good. So the 5 methods we intend to propose to you are related to more or less all the learning styles: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and reading and writing. About the methods, just shortly, the aim is to inspire teachers and students, address teachers and students with no specific artistic skills, support learning and educational content of the curriculum in formal education, combine entertainment and knowledge acquisition, aim to stimulate students' participation and foster interaction, enhance key competencies as well as general abilities and thinking skills. The methods are easy to prepare and to be prepared and to apply in class, are transferable to the diverse disciplines, and are freely used alone or combined with other methods of the GRT project. Okay, let's begin. The first method we would like to propose to you is about famous paintings in teaching. This method is related to the visual learning style. The method proposes to use the paintings of acknowledgement artists as a support tool during the teaching process. The selection of the paintings can be by thematic relevance to the educational content, can be by taking into consideration the impact of the paintings itself and the importance of the paintings in relationship to address specific knowledge. A support tool in teaching, this method can be a support tool in teaching specific content as well as an assessment and evaluation tool. Shortly, famous paintings in teaching can transform the learning process for teachers and students into a beautiful and interesting journey in knowledge. And famous paintings of exquisite beauty and interest can enrich experiences in a classroom and enhance effectiveness of learning process. And we prepared to you a short video speaking about the use of this method. So now I'm going to open the video. Hopefully it's working. Yeah, you can see it?
No.
Not yet. But I think it will come soon. Needs time.
It's going on?
No.
No.
Maybe
Can you
Then I
open
have
it?
in another window.
Yes.
You go to another window.
Yes. I'm
Or
doing
maybe
it
you
now.
can open
Antonio.
the direct link from YouTube where we uploaded it. Maybe it will
Yes,
work
I know.
faster.
I'm just stopping the sharing and I will open again.
Okay.
Hi, Antonio. Did you?
Have you clicked the left bottom button? The bottom button on your left.
Yeah.
What are you able to see now?
Good. Yes.
Yeah, I played from the beginning.
Only the sound, we don't listen it, but it's
Yeah.
We can't hear the sound.
And you should also click on the button,
Oh,
which
come on.
is stop.
So now I'm in a. I stopped the share screen, yeah? So
Yeah, and when
I
you
go
go
on
on
YouTube,
the,
I play the
you have
video.
2 buttons to click. the sound and the video
Yes,
on the left.
it's on. Now I do again.
No.
It's going on now?
The sound is the problem.
Yes, we can't hear what the video says.
Just one.
Or if you send the link to us, we can watch it and then
Yeah, on your own, privately.
yes, and then come back.
Yeah, do you want to try that, Andrea? Maybe send the link in the chat.
I think Andrea has her microphone
So
muted.
I did it again. Which one the skills? Which one? Okay.
At GRT Foundation.
Now you can see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and hear it.
Hear
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Elsa Gheorghiu, teacher trainer at GRT Foundation, Iași, Romania. I would like to talk with you about a project, an Erasmus Plus project, Golden Ratio Teaching, which aims to boost students' confidence, inspiration and creativity. Today, I'd like to propose to you a very interactive and attractive method which is called paintings in teaching. Painting has been part of humankind practices since prehistoric times. Paintings tell stories. Paintings provide us with information and knowledge. Paintings express feelings. Paintings are comments on life and historical events. Paintings are subjective representations of life and reality. What's more, paintings have enormous impact as they are a joy for the eye and soul. They affect and cultivate imagination, emotion and intellect. They are entertaining and instructive in direct and indirect ways. Last but not least, paintings are products of art of high quality, available to everyone, teachers and students who do not have artistic skills, who may or may not love paintings, but they can learn with the support of visually codified information. Paintings in the teaching process. They can make a lesson more attractive by offering visual material of interest and beauty in school subjects, which include difficult and challenging information. The visual material can be directly or indirectly connected. They can make a lesson more attractive by provoking questions, starting from the general question: why has my teacher chosen this painting to teach me this topic? They can make a lesson more effective by providing direct and indirect knowledge and education in an enriched synesthetic way. Paintings promote imagination and enhance correlative thinking skills. Paintings in teaching proposes the use of paintings of acknowledged artists as a support tool during the teaching process of a specified educational content in the formal frame of school education. Paintings can be selected according to the topic relevance to the educational content by taking into consideration the impact of the painting itself and the importance of the painting in relation to the address specified knowledge. Paintings can be used as a background, as a source of information, as a source of events, or as a springboard for new ideas, firing students' imagination. We are looking forward to working together in using paintings as a teaching method in your future classes.
So thank you. This was the first presentation, the first method. Well, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you relaxed a little bit and you joined the beautiful world of paintings. Now we'd like to have a short quiz with you if you want to join us. So we are going to see around three paintings, and we're going to discuss for which school subject could we use the paintings and how could we use the pictures of the painting. So I let you visualize it and let's see what ideas you can come up with.
History?
Did you say history?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Okay. You're right.
The history.
History.
The
Right.
period of the
Second World War.
World War, the Second World War.
Actually, it's the Spanish War, the Spanish Civil War. So
The
it's in
Spanish Civil War.
1937. Yes, 1937. So it's a very, it's a tragic period of time for Spain.
Yeah, so as suggested can be discipline history, can be direct references to this specific historic event,
Mm-hmm.
or as a comment to war in general. Also can be used for the political sciences and civil literacy, can be used as a reference to interactions between political parties, and as a reference to civil rights and civil participation.
And why not geography?
Of course.
Yes, why not geography? Why not literature?
Yes, of course. These were just two suggestions.
Yeah, so it's thought-provoking. I'm still under its influence, and I think that my first wish now is to go to Madrid and see it again.
Let's go together.
Okay, Antonio.
The entire team. Okay, the next.
Yeah, the
painting.
entire team, right.
What this inspired you?
Geometry.
Mathematics, yeah.
Yeah.
Art.
Color theory.
Yeah, so mathematics, geometry can be used as a reference, as example of different geometrical shapes, as a test inviting the students to recognize the different geometrical shapes. Also imagine specific geometrical problems related to the triangle and the angles in the painting itself.
Yeah. And modern languages.
I was sure that you have more ideas. Yes. Okay. And now?
Science, biology.
Right.
Biology.
Geography as well.
Geography, yes.
So we said biology, botany, entomology, visual reference to specific content of school subjects, as treasure hunting, find the hiding specimen. This is also a very fun activity, and paintings can be used in this purpose. The study of details and comments on ecosystems. Okay, this was about the first method related to the paintings. And now we will move on to the other methods. And in the end, we will discuss them, or you want to take one by one to give us a feedback, or how you want to do it? How you think, Zori, it's better?
Let's see how much time we will have.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe we can provide feedback afterwards.
Okay, so we go through all the ideas and then we will discuss.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next method is mind mapping in teaching. This can be related to the visual and reading and writing learning styles. Mind map is a diagram used to organize information. The concepts or the items linked to a topic are organized around it in a radial graphical layout. Mind mapping helps us think, collect knowledge, remember, analyze, synthesize, and generate new ideas. A mind map is also a creativity boosting tool, encouraging students to give vent to their imagination. Mind maps can be used at any stage of a lesson, like brainstorming, organizing information, note-taking, problem-solving, studying and memorizing, planning, researching, organizing, learning vocabulary, grammar, writing, and so on. And again, we prepared a video just to show you the introduction of this method. Again, I will stop my screen. I will start the video. And hopefully this will work easily. Just 1 second. I'm trying again.
Trainer at Educator Foundation, Iași, Romania. Today, we'd like to share with you.
Are you able to?
Hi, my name is Elza Gheorghiu and I'm a teacher trainer at Educator Foundation, Iași, Romania. Today, we'd like to share with you something about a European project, an Erasmus Plus project, Golden Ratio Teaching, which aims to support teachers to boost their students' creativity, inspiration, and confidence. From this perspective, I propose to you an interactive and attractive teaching method called mind mapping. So let's start. What is mind mapping? A mind map is a diagram which is used to organize information, to organize our ideas. And it has a radial graphical layout. It is personal, and that's why it's memorable. It captures the way we think, what's going on inside our head. Mind mapping is not new. It's not new at all, but Its standardized form was made by a British psychology writer whose name was Tony Buzan, after looking into some geniuses' notes, and he discovered that all these, no matter how different the people were, had something in common, one common feature: the radial display of ideas linked to a central topic. And he said that this is the way, in fact, our brain works, by making use of associations and imagination, and usually preferring to scan a page radially. So now we use this method on a large scale, in schools, in classes, at home, with our students. Let's draw a mind map of the mind mapping activity. So the key word is mind mapping. I'll circle it. And then I'll be thinking of some subtopics to connect it to the main topic. So the first one is, what is a mind map? The definition, the keyword. And then I'll create small tweaks to put the, second ideas related to definition. Another idea is about schools. So students of all ages, about subjects, school subjects, all of them, and at school or at home as homework. Okay, what about its uses? We can use it to make presentations, to brainstorm, to take notes, to organize ideas, and so on. Okay, what are the benefits? Wow, a wide range of benefits, starting from boosting our memory, our self-confidence, responding to learning styles, kinesthetic, visual, writing, reading, developing all cognitive skills, enhancing creativity and inspiration, imagination, ability to make connections, team working, and so on. And stages of a lesson. Where should I use it in a lesson? The stages of a lesson. In all stages, so it is used at all stages, when introducing new topic, new knowledge, when consolidating new knowledge, when practicing and improving skills, when revising, reviewing old knowledge or new knowledge. So all stages. How to create it? It's very simple, as you have seen. Just the topic as a keyword in the middle, and then you stem branches to subtopics as keywords, and then you can develop it with little tweaks to show how the main topics, the subtopics are presented. As you have seen, it's easy to create a mind map. It has a tree structure, but it can be easily connected to any school subject, any topic. Don't be afraid to use it. You don't need any artistic skills. Concentrate on the keywords and let the students explore the topic. We are looking forward to working together and use the mind mapping method in your future lessons.
Okay, so this was the second method. I hope that you enjoy this one also. And we move to the third one. It is called collage map making in teaching. It is related to the visual and the kinesthetic learning styles. The method uses collage to create maps which contain the most important information included in a specific educational content, can be used for a lesson plan or a yearly plan, like a lesson guide, and it is easily transferable to diverse disciplines. The collage method can place the students in the center and actively involve them in production of the collage. And it is important that the kinetic skills are very, very used in this collage making. The method aims to support teaching and evaluating processes by introducing an entertaining and attractive tool, facilitate teachers to attract and stimulate interest of students, foster interaction and active participation, physical and mental, and facilitate the memorizing of difficult and vast information through visual correlation. And again, we have a different approach of doing a video. So again, I will try to share it. Let's see if it's working. This will be the last video we prepared. Okay. I hope you can see it.
Hello, my name is Elza Gheorghiu and I'm a teacher trainer at EuroEd Foundation Iași, Romania, and I would like to share with you our experiences related to a European Erasmus Plus project, Golden Ratio Teaching. This time we are going to propose to you a new, attractive and very interesting method that is collage mapping, teaching through collage mapping. So, the method follows the main principles of the project, that is inspiration, love and freedom. So this method addresses all teachers, no matter what their school subject is, and teachers without any specific artistic skills. It inspires teachers to use the practice of collage when teaching and evaluating different processes of content in the educational curriculum. It proposes a way to create maps which include the main information of the lesson. The method aims to support the teaching and evaluating processes by introducing this entertaining and attractive tool. It facilitates teachers to attract and stimulate students' interest. It fosters interaction and active participation, not only physical but also mental. It facilitates the memorization of difficult and vast information through visual connections, mapping, and physical participation of the students. It develops correlation capacities and thinking skills. It gamifies the evaluation or assessment processes. It enhances creativity and results in products of artistic value. It improves individual learning, but also fosters teamwork. It is easily transferable to diverse school subjects. It can be used by students with special needs, for instance, autistic or dyslexic needs. The method inspires and invites the teacher to create a collage map, time and geography dimensions, indicatively or not exclusively, for the most important information provided by a discipline content during a teaching class or teaching year. It is at the free choice of the teacher whether he or she uses this tool throughout the year or only for certain lessons. With this tool, the teacher invites students to create a map according to some parameters or axes that will be decided by the teacher and relevant to the objectives of the educational content. For example, history or a geographical map could be locally, internationally, nationally, and divided in time periods with visual lines. We are looking forward to working together in using the collage mapping method in your future classes.
Okay, so thank you. So, yes, so at this moment you were able to see the third method we proposed. In the PowerPoint we prepared to explain the method and so on, we also prepared a different example of the use of collage at biology, but this is again another example. But just to make a shorter, we would like to move to the next two methods. For these ones, we didn't manage to prepare the video to present it more in details, but we focused on the template, on the main ideas to be able to be transmitted to you. And I would like to invite Ralu, our colleague, who worked very much in developing the next two methods. So Ralu, would you like to present the two next methods?
Okay, thank you. So the next method has a temporary, it's not provisional title, it's work in progress actually, impersonating historical personalities in first person narrative in teaching and first person narrative in teaching. Learning style is reading and writing and auditive. I have put in brackets also, and the college accepted oral and social, because I read a lot in diverse studies that they are also kinds of learning styles, and these methods enhances social learning style. The suggested method. This method invites teachers to narrate the content of the lesson as if the lesson is itself a story. The narration is in the first person as the teacher impersonates, and I'm not sure that the word impersonates is the correct one, but let's say borrows a historical persona of significance relevant to the discipline in general or with a specific lesson. An example would be that, for example, to teach the theorem of Pythagoras, I present myself in class as Pythagoras. I don't have to play a role. I don't have to play the character. I take the name, and during the lesson, I explain all the theorem of Pythagoras as if I'm doing it, I'm discovering it at this moment. So instead of saying that Pythagoras said that the three sides of a triangle are such and such and such, I say that, okay, I saw, and finally, little by little, I discovered that this line with this line in I'm sorry, I'm not exactly a mathematician, so I don't know all the terms, but this line with this line, it's equal how do we call the two on the top of
Square?
Yeah, the square. Okay, the square. So the square of one side plus the other side is the square of the biggest side of the triangle. The method uses the first person as a narrative technique of storytelling, and the impersonation, the borrowing of an important character that has an impact. This method triggers students' curiosity and attention and enhances participation in the first person again, addressing directly the questions to the teacher as if the knowledge is produced in first level, not presented as a second level knowledge. At the same time, the method can turn the lesson into a traveling time machine or a treasure hunt or mystery or discovery game, because we can choose, for example, a persona that will follow us all over the year and have time traveling to visit other important personas that discovered other things and create again a dialogue about this in first person. For me also, it cultivates, it can show to students the subtle or indirectly, the subtle differences between discipline and respect, because you have the teacher identity going at the side and you have the respect that comes for a person, because you can address to your teacher also in the first person. You can ask the question directly. And how did you come to arrive to the result that these two, how did you notice, for example, that these two sides of this triangle are the squares are equal to the square of the longest side? And then, but in the same time, be respectful. This is an indirect actually. And thus it's also social learning style. Can we go to the next page? Okay, thank you. So I have here an example. We have here an example, mathematics again. I chose the persona of Hypatia, who is a very interesting and also rare case of mathematician, woman mathematician in the history of the first ages of history of mathematics and ancient, let's say. And the preparation, of course, would need from the teacher would be to know a bit of the story, but most of the mathematicians and teachers know details about the important personalities, and sometimes they admire them a lot also. And so I present myself in the class. I'm not a teacher, I'm sorry, but I can present myself in the class as Hypatia, say where I live. I live in Alexandria of Egypt. It's year 360, for example, and in 360, I'm working right now on, I think she constructed also astrolabes, so instruments for astrology. I am interested equally in philosophy, mathematics, and astronomy. And I'm very happy because in Alexandria, I have in my disposal the biggest library of the world, with all the papyruses and all the writing proofs of Pythagoras and texts of all of the people. And then I start addressing to my students as Hypatia and explain the things that I'm working on. I am sorry because I haven't been a teacher and I haven't been in a class for really more than 25 years, but so I don't know exactly which content we have in grades from 5th to 8th, so that I can be more specific. But I think that with this technique we can present first the lesson, first the personality a little bit, not the personality, the historic moment, because the teacher never stops to be himself. And then we explain the theories, always in a first person. We invite the students to solve the problems in the dialogue format, the dialectic, as if the inventions and the solutions are still to be found. And we can always use it as a tool for all year, or just change every time, or sometimes in the year, to create also this aspect of surprise of which person will teach us next time, which important person will teach us next time this lesson. This was an example, actually. It could be Einstein, it could be Newton. Also, the important thing here is that the lesson becomes the story itself, and it's not my idea. In a research that I did recently because of this project, I saw that a very famous person, researcher in pedagogics, that I don't remember the name, but I can provide you with because it's in my notes, said himself that the story itself, the lesson itself is a story. For example, if we have gravity and Newton, you have the story there, you don't have to create a fictional story to say it. You have this legendary story about the apple And I can be Newton and say that last night I was sitting under a tree in my garden, and I was wondering all days why objects fall only down and they don't go to another direction. And suddenly I had an apple in my head and I had an idea. And from there, we can create also dialogue about objects, about gravity, and lead to finally give the final form that gives us gravity. This was about this method. And then in the same, this is famous music works in teaching. It's exactly in the same principle as famous paintings in work in teaching. This is learning style related to auditive. The method proposes the use of famous musical works of acknowledged globally or locally, nationally, as a support tool for a teaching process. The selection of musical works can be thematic, by thematic relevance to the educational content. For example, I want to teach astronomy, and I can bring in the class the musical work Planets of Holst, by the general impact of music that music has on students and also its connection to knowledge. For example, in the same way, we can use, if we have astronomy, a soundtrack of Star Wars or for Star Trek, and we can also invite them to tell us which kind of music they think that suits for a certain topic. We can also use famous songs if they are related. I was thinking more of instrumental or not always with text music, but it can be, you can have also, for example, Andrea found a song about DNA the other day, and she sent it to me, a very funny rap song about the chain of DNA. So music is used to indirectly provide and highlight information relevant to the topic. This is again the example of Holst or of Star Trek and Star Wars. Also, it can be the Ninth of Beethoven and have a direct reference. Now it's used as an anthem of European Union, and you have immediately relevance to history, Enlightenment and French Revolution and the impact on the other countries around France. To explain abstract ideas, processes, functions, or correlations. And with the abstract ideas, I can imagine also freedom, democracy. And I can give you an example. I will finish with all the things to create ambience relevant to the content. As a musical support canvas to highlight information through imagination and association mechanisms. And before I pass to the next page, for example, the abstract idea could be using the idea of an orchestral piece and another piece of classical music and a piece of jazz music. And we have in one only this, make the students to listen to the pieces and then tell them if they find differences. They can tell us different things in style and everything. And we can go forward and explain that in one we have an orchestra that plays with score. Or in the other one, for example, I will take the Fifth of Beethoven and Dave Brubeck's Take 5. That I think it's quite famous. I can send you links of the pieces if you want. And in one we have an orchestra which plays under a conductor, and it has a score. There is not really freedom in this schema. It's rather authoritarian. So you have to follow absolutely, in any case, the score and the conductor. In the other side, we have another piece. The ensemble still plays together, but they don't have a conductor. They have to follow certain rules, but they have the freedom. And the most of the times in this kind of music, we have also improvisation, which is again a constructed thing, but you have the freedom to express yourself. And all the members of the group, they can express themselves. And like this, you can teach democracy and freedom, because freedom, it doesn't mean that we can do whatever we want, but we can express ourselves under certain rules and laws. And then we have another example, a bit more concrete and inconcrete in the same day. But the discipline is biology. Let's say that we have an introduction lesson for the anatomy and the functions of human body. And we want to explain how it works day and night in this separation. And I chose for this Bolero of Maurice Ravel. I personally don't like it a lot, maybe because I had too much of it in my life. But I find this very helpful. It doesn't correspond one by one, but it can give the general idea. Because I don't know if you know, but in the beginning, it starts gradually. And we have first a rhythmical theme, motif, which is repeated from the beginning to the end. Tam, ta, da, tam, 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 tam. And we can say that this is the heartbeat. And then we have flute that comes in, and it can be the breathing. So we have the separation of sympathetic and parasympathetic functions in our body world during the night when we don't have to do anything, but they are working by themselves. And little by little, we have other things and layers that come into it with the same melody, which means that we are doing the same, more or less we aim to the same thing, but we have differences also. And steadily we build up, the whole orchestra plays everything, which means that we can explain that now we are awakened, it's not night anymore, it's day, and all of our body is working. So we can give an image, a very abstract and example of how our body works during day and night. We can find other examples and we can use it also in other ways. Also, another piece of orchestra could work to explain how a cell works or how our body works, and how, for example, we have to give orders for certain things to start working, or some things work by themselves. These are small examples.
Thank you, Ralu. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
yeah,
so,
and the elements of the plot, I think, in literature can be taught through this kind of music. Musical technique. Yeah.
The difficult thing with this method, I think it's not difficult. It's that I think that the nice thing of GRT, as I see it, because I'm internal and external also in some ways, because I'm an intern in URED, it's that these tools can be all combined. For example, the mapping tool can be combined with the method of your colleague from our colleague from Bulgaria presented the last time with the sketching, for example, and the storytelling can be merged with the other way of, or music can come into in these ways. But this is this kind of, for me, there are two styles. It's the using arts, for example, the practice of arts to teach something, or the product of arts to teach something. And we can see the difference here, because here with paintings and music pieces, we have ready-made products that we use them, and we can easily have access nowadays. We don't need to have a music library really big in our disposal to find the pieces. And the GRT could provide with a roster, with titles of music and the ways that we can use them, and then we can inspire teachers and find also other ways and ask students what they prefer, why they prefer it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So this is us. Zori, you will tell us if the methods are fine, if you want to, I don't know, change something, or to choose with which ones to go further. It will be difficult to drop out on something, but as I said, this is what we have in mind, and will be the decision of the entire group. So,
yeah, absolutely. I also agree that it's really hard to say no to something that has been proposed by you. I have some notes here in front of me, and I see some of the methods as the hybrids between several different approaches, which are really practical and give a good example of what you can do in class with a certain way of, I don't know, using arts. I agree that here in some of the approaches, the student is rather in a passive role. So he or she is a recipient of what the teacher has already developed or selected as materials to be used. So yeah, but I would say that now we pass on to Antonio, and we can, for example, decide for some deadline for all of us to send comments back to you. But I would suggest, if it's possible, to keep all the methods, to keep them, and yeah, just it will be a bigger burden for you to develop a description for each of these. But
we already prepared the templates, so the templates are already filled in. We just wanted to have the feedback from you to see if we go farther with this, but the templates are already filled in, so we can send everything. And also we try to do the videos to have different approaches, because you saw the videos are from different perspectives. We tried to expose that as much as possible.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely great to me. I mean, if
so
anyone else...
we will send all the resources created, and then we will discuss more about the way we will proceed further.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Andrea and team. It was absolutely a great selection of approaches. So now, Antonio, we will have the pleasure to listen to you. I made you co-host so that you can do...
Okay, yes, thanks. First of all, it is not fair to put my presentation immediately after this big work done by Euroheads, and after the acting skills shown by Elsa and the passion shown by Ralu. I think what I prepared is just 1% of what they did. I was supposed to create and to produce a video, as was done by the other partners, but to be honest, I didn't have enough time to prepare the video. I was thinking about that, and then I was shocked by the video produced by Vasilis, because I had the same idea in my mind about having, you know, the teacher and the students. So I have to think about another solution about my video. Anyway, I'm going to share my screen. Just a second. Okay, so the methodology I'm going to speak about is the flipped classroom methodology. Amongst the objectives of the Golden Ratio teaching project is to provide teachers with some inputs about the teaching methodology, and above all to involve students in order to get them in the classroom, and in order to tackle the phenomenon of the school leaving. So I've been thinking about which is one of the best methodology which can be used within the classroom in order to have and to involve students, and in the end I decided for the flipped classroom. And to be honest, the first contact with this methodology was thanks to Eurohead, because it was the object of a previous European project. But on the other hand, I discovered that even if it is used in the classroom, it is still underestimated, and even more in this specific historical context in which, you know, we are not exactly all of us in the classroom. It can be an interesting methodology to be used, and in order to involve students, and in order to have their attention during the classes. So the flipped classroom, as you can see, I did my best to have the idea of something which is flipped. So it has not been done as by mistake. It was done on purpose, because more or less it is flipping the typical situation that we have in the classroom, and I will explain how it works. Okay, so flipped learning is a pedagogical approach in which direct instruction moves from the group learning space to the individual learning space, and the resulting group space is transformed into a dynamic, interactive learning environment where the educator is able to guide the students as they apply concept and engage creatively in the subject matter. While often defined simplistically as schoolwork at home and homework at school, flipped learning is an approach that allows teachers to implement a methodology or various methodologies in their classroom. It is not so different in comparison with what we did until now, because there were some introduction videos which had the aim to provide information about what we were going to talk, and more or less the flipped methodology is like that. It is using some videos, but not only videos, in order to prepare students, and above all, it is just moving what it is usually done in the classroom to move this in the homework and to move the more homework in the classroom. I will explain this more specifically, but what I learned until now in my experience as student and as teacher is that if you don't know anything about a topic, the starting point is the definition of what you're going to discuss about. So I started from the definition of flipped, and even more, I went through the definition of each single letter composing the idea of flipped classroom and flipped environment. First of all, the F, which stands for flexible environment, because flipped learning allows for a variety of learning modes. Educators often physically rearrange their learning space to accommodate a lesson or unit to support group work or independent study. So teacher can create those flexible spaces in which students choose when and where they learn. Then the second letter, the L, which stands for learning culture, because in the traditional teacher-centered model, the teacher is the primary source of information. By contrast, the flipped learning model shifts instruction to a learner-centered approach, wherein class time is dedicated to exploring topics in depth and creating rich learning opportunity. As a result of this, students are actively involved in knowledge construction as they participate in and evaluate their learning in a manner that is personally meaningful. Then the following letter, intentional content, because flipped learning educators continually think about they can use the flipped learning model to help students develop their understanding. They determine what they need to teach and what material students should explore on their own. And educators use intentional content to maximize classroom time in order to adopt methods of student-centered active learning strategies depending on the level and on the subject matter. Finally, the P, which stands for professional educator. The role of a professional educator is even more important and often more demanding in a flipped classroom. So it is an important introduction. Within this methodology, teachers are asked to an extra effort to be done. So don't be scared about that, because teachers have, even if within the classroom, they are kind of substituted by the students, because there is this kind of flipped learning and flipped methodology. On the other hand, they have to prepare well in advance what they want to speak about, and they have to produce some tools to be used by the students. That's why we ask teachers for an extra effort. And educators are reflective in their practice, connect with each other to improve their instruction, accept constructive criticism, and tolerate controlled chaos in their classrooms. That is the premise. And I thought it was important to focus on this because, again, we are asking teachers for an extra effort. But on the other hand, I think that this kind of methodology can be kind of successful because students are much more involved and motivated in what they are asked to do. So, which is the aim of the flipped classroom? A flipped classroom is an instructional strategy and a type of blended learning which aims to increase student engagement and learning by having students complete readings at their home and work on live problem solving during class time. That is the main idea of flipping the classroom. So what is usually done at home with the homework is done in the classroom, and what is usually done within the classroom is done at home with the students who are completely independent, and they use the tools which have been prepared by the teachers. How does it work? In a flipped classroom, students watch online lectures, collaborate in online discussion, or carry out research at home while engaging in concept and in discussion and in debating within the classroom with the supervision of their teachers. That is the main idea of the flipped classroom. And obviously there are big differences between the traditional classroom and the flipped classroom. In the traditional model of classroom instruction, the teacher is the central focus of a lesson and the primary disseminator of information during the class period. The teacher responds to questions while students refer directly to the teacher for guidance and feedback. In a classroom with a traditional style of instruction, individual lessons may be focused on an explanation of content using a lecture style. Student engagements in a traditional classroom may be limited to activities in which students work independently or in small groups or an application task designed by the teacher. This pattern of teaching also involves the teacher, and the teacher controls the flows of the conversation. In the flipped classroom, the attention is completely moved to the learner because the model is a learner-centered model in which time in the classroom is used to explore topics in depth and create meaningful learning opportunities while students are introduced to new topics outside the classroom. It is the main idea. So it is not, okay, I am in the classroom, I am going to explain the topic of the lesson, which can be on any kind of subject, and that is a kind of face-to-face, but the main role is owned by the teacher, and students have just to listen, to take notes or make questions, and then they have to study during the homework. Within the flipped classroom, teacher receives some materials, and I would say that most of the material is represented by videos produced by the teacher or external videos, and then they immediately have this kind of notion and understanding of the main topic, and the understanding phases is done directly during the homework, while the classroom is used in order to go in depth within the subject and to use other forms of learning, which can be discussing with all the other colleagues, making and using the supervision of the teacher, and creating other, for example, work groups within the classroom. So the attention is much more focused on the learner rather than on the teacher. So again, this is another another image just to represent how it works. In the traditional classroom, there is the lecture in the classroom and the homework activities. On the contrary, within the flipped classroom methodology, the lecture is done at home through some external resources, which can be videos, but not only videos. And then the classroom activities are organized in order to specify, to underline some aspects in order to create live discussion and debates within the classroom. So the idea of flipping the classroom is concrete. We are completely modifying the typical way we used to do, like teachers and as students, because all of us, we have been students, and there was no idea of flipping the classroom. There was the teacher, we had to listen to the teacher and then doing the homework at home. This way we are completely, there is a kind of revolution about the roles and about what is usually done at home or what is usually done in the classroom. And it is also changing completely the Bloom's taxonomy, because in traditional learning, lower level of learning, such as remembering and understanding, is happening in class, while students are usually left to work on activities that involve higher level of learning outside of classroom. In the flipped classroom model, learning is flipped completely. As you can see from this image, students can finish the lower level of cognitive work before class, and when they come to class, they can engage in higher cognitive levels of learning with peers and obviously with the supervision of the teacher. In order to allow students to immediately enter within the topics of discussion, in a flipped classroom, content delivery may take a variety of forms. Often, as I said, video lessons prepared by teacher or third parties are used to deliver content. Although online collaborative discussions, digital research, and text readings may be used. About videos, it is important because right now we have been watching some videos produced by EuroAds. We had our previous meetings with some videos, and we don't have the same level of understanding about the videos, because when we speak about students, there have been some research and it has been claimed that the ideal length for a video lesson is 8 to 12 minutes. After 12 minutes, students tend to lose their attention to what they are watching too. It happens every day. Usually I see this with students, they tend to lose attention also when they watch some videos. They are focused for the first minutes, but they are much more interested in having short messages, short videos, and nothing too long, which belongs to an old way of doing lesson and of learning. Videos used in the flipped classroom model must include a variety of approaches in the same way a face-to-face lesson would, and they must have also good sound and image quality so that students can follow along easily. But as I said, there has been in the past a kind of misunderstanding according to which flipped classroom is just producing video by the teacher and watching videos by the students. It is not just watching and producing videos, because there are a lot of different tools which can be used for the by the teachers within this kind of methodology. For example, there is the active learning, which is allow students to apply concept in class where they can ask peers or instructors for feedback and clarification. There are the laboratory experiments, there is the original document analysis, debates or speech presentation. So I am a teacher, I produce some videos, I ask my teachers during the homework, not in the classroom, to watch the video so that they have a preliminary knowledge of what we are going to speak about. So within the classroom, I can ask teachers to organize and to present their ideas in speeches, presentation, or in debates. So they have the possibility to talk, to be the active participants within the lesson and not to lose their attention. Because another good and important point about the flipped classroom is that it prepares students to what they will be asked to do during the work routine. Because when we move from the school to work environments, it depends on the kind of work we are asked to do, but we will immediately, or they will immediately ask to make a PowerPoint presentation or to present their own idea to a client. So thanks to this kind of methodology, they also familiarize with debate, speech presentations, and so on. Another tool which can be used for in-class activities is the peer reviewing. Students can teach each other by explaining concepts or working on small problems. So we know that students have their preferences, they have their favorite subject or arguments. So we can ask students with an important knowledge about a specific topic to become the teacher and to teach to their peers so that they can receive immediate feedback from their peers. Other possibilities, the project-based or problem-based learning. Class time can be spent working on projects, problems that can last for the duration of a semester, for example, or collaborative learning. These collaborative learning activities could increase student engagement, enhance student understanding, and promote collective intelligence. Because of these types of active learning allow for highly differentiated instruction, more time can be spent in class or higher order thinking skills such as problem finding, collaboration, design, and problem solving as students tackle difficult problems, working groups, research, and so on. So the interaction which is done directly by the student is much more focused on each specific student. It is not the teacher just talking to the entire classroom, but the kind of interaction is much more individual, and there are obviously some benefits of using this kind of direct interaction between the teacher and the students. Why should we flip the classrooms? Flipped classroom as individualized learning for students, as I said before, and teachers describe how students can now move quite independently, how they can review what they need when they need to, and how the teacher is free to work one-to-one with students on the content they must need support with. And obviously there are some pros and cons of flipping the classroom. Those are just images that I found, but there are some different benefits of flipping the classroom, because flipping speaks the language of today's students, helps busy students, helps students of all abilities to excel, allows students to pause and rewind their teacher, increase student-teacher interaction, allows teachers to know their students better, increase student-student interaction, allows for real differentiation, and change classroom management, and makes the class more transparent. There are obviously also some limitations in the use of this kind of methodology. For students, there exists a digital divide. Not all families are from the same socioeconomic background, and there is not the same access to computers or video viewing technology outside of the school environment. This is not possible for all the students. This model of instruction may put under pressure on some families as they attempt to gain access to videos outside of school hours. The second limitation about flipping the classroom is that some students may struggle due to their developing personal responsibility. So there is a big focus on on student responsibility, which can be something which can be good, but it can also have a kind of boomerang effect, because in this case we are asking a lot from the student point of view. And another limitation or criticism which has been moved to flipping the classroom is that the flipped classroom leads to increased computer time in a moment where adolescents already spend too much time in front of computer screens. In this historical context, it is true. It is even, I would say, worse than before, because they spend a lot of time in front of screens. And on the other side, we can learn from the last year, from what we are all experiencing, to rethink the way we teach. And once this situation, standing or spending too much time in front of a screen, will be over, we can use what we learned, giving the right role of technology while teaching. And this kind of approach, maybe in a situation in which there will be normal classes, and I was really happy to see the Euroed classroom full of students, which is not the reality right now in Italy. Anyway, in the future, in the coming future, I hope, we will rethink about the way we teach and the way students learn, and we can think about using this methodology, using the videos and experiencing from what we learned in the last year. Obviously, the flipped classroom can be used together with other methodological approaches. Flipped learning plus peer instruction. It consists of sharing with other students a different response to their own and explain the reasons that support the same to learn from each other. Flipped mastery learning, which is organizing content around specific goals. Students work on course content at their own pace, and upon reaching the end of each unit, they must show mastery of learning objectives before moving on the next topic, and so on. Students can show evidence of their learning through videos, worksheets, stories, programs, and so on. So teachers within this kind of approach are asked to produce video, but on the other hand, Once students have the opportunity to study and to discuss within the classroom, we can ask students to produce their own videos. And I'm pretty sure that students are sometimes better than their teachers in producing video, in using technology and so on. Flipped learning plus gamification. A step forward in the flipped mastery model would be to include gamification elements in the learning process. Gamification is the application of game mechanism in situations not directly related to games. The basic idea is to identify what motivates a games and see how it can be applied in the teaching learning model. Flipped learning plus cooperative learning. I already explained this before, but there could be a complementation between the flipped classroom technique and cooperative learning. Schoolwork, also commonly known as homework, is done jointly and in cooperation with other groups as the teacher moves the time spent explaining the subject to the flipped classroom methodology. And finally, flipped learning plus inclusive learning. The qualities of a flipped classroom that are valuable for typical students can also benefit students with disabilities. So there are several opportunities to use this kind of methodology in combination with other methodologies. Obviously, as this is a kind of methodology which is not completely new, but it has been already experienced by several teachers and several classes, it is also possible right now to identify 6 steps guide to flipping the classroom. First of all, and this is a guide which is completely addressed to teachers, plan, figure out which lesson you want to flip, outline the key learning outcomes and the lesson plan. Then you have to record, you have to produce a video, if you want to use this kind of methodology. So instead of teaching this lesson in person, make a video. Make sure it contains all the key elements you would mention in the classroom. Do not make a video just for the sake of making a video, but only when you feel the video is appropriate and necessary. It all depends on the educational goal of the lesson. If making videos better facilitate the instructional goal, then go ahead and produce your own video. Otherwise, you can use video taken from any other kind of source, or for example, YouTube is full of videos which can be used once they have been approved by the teacher, obviously. Then the next step in this guide for flipping the classroom is share. Send the video to your students. Make it engaging and clear. Explain that the video contents will be fully discussed in the classroom. So students have to know well in advance that once they are familiar with the contents of the video, those contents will be object of discussion within the classroom. So they have to be quite aware about the entire process of flipping the classroom. Change. Now that your students have viewed your lesson, they are prepared to actually go more in depth than ever before. Group. An effective way to discuss the topic is to separate into groups where students are given a task to perform. Write a poem, a play, make a video, or let's make a discussion and debate. So we will have some reason which support an idea and some other reasons which are completely the opposite of what we said before. We will divide the classroom into different groups. So each group will have to support its own idea and to convince the others about their idea. And finally, regroup. Get the class back together to share the individual group works with everyone. Ask questions, dive deeper than ever before, and after this 6 step, review, revise, and repeat. Those are just inputs for flipping the classroom. And I would like to use a kind of case study about flipping the classroom. As I said, the structure, the typical structure is completely flipped. So within the classroom, students have to discuss about what they have learned from the video that they received before. And let's pretend this meeting is a kind of classroom. So now there will be a video introducing you to a topic which maybe you are not familiar with. So let's pretend this is your homework, which is watching the video, and then we will have the discussion, which will be guided by me as teacher. So I have this video, and I'm pretty sure that I will have to stop the sharing the screen, and I will go directly to the video on YouTube, because I found this interesting video on YouTube. So about the topic of discussion, it is, as I said before, something which is maybe unfamiliar to all of you. It is the way Italian people use gesture and movements of their hands to talk and to interact with other people. So the video is about this stuff. So apart from the Italian teachers, I think this is pretty new for all of you. Just give me a second to find the video. And please let me know once I start the video if you are able to listen to it. Can you listen to the video?
No. We can see, but we can't hear.
So, Andrea, how did you manage to?
You should have the 3 dots with more options, and there you have share sound.
So we are speaking about Zoom.
Yes.
The 3 dots should be where?
I don't have now the sharing right.
Because I can't see any dot.
I think, Antonio, it's when you start sharing.
Oh, sorry. When I start sharing,
then it gives you the options what to share. You can share the desktop, and then somewhere down you can click on share the sound. It must share sound as well, or something like that. Just to click on share sound sharing. At least it.
And if you have a video, you also have to click on video. So twice, on sound and video.
Okay, now you're sharing computer sound.
can you listen to the video?
No.
No.
Okay, I will go again. I put share the video.
Okay.
Spaghetti.
Italian is certainly a very expressive language. Ciao mamma, vado a mangiare una pizza con Serena? Sì, prendo la Vespa. A dopo. Ciao. If you've been to Italy or have Italian friends, you may have noticed that we move our hands a lot when we talk. Well, it's hard not to notice. And you may have thought, are they crazy, moving so much with all that heat? Well, what you may not know is that Italians have their very special hand gesture language to communicate. But what's the reason behind it? Well, if you look at Italy right now, you may think of it as a unified country, but it's not always been the case. This is how Italy looked like before the unification in 1861. A lot of different states and kingdoms with their very own languages and traditions. Hence, the need of a more universal language. It's not all about the ends. Every single facial muscle is involved as well. So when you practice, make sure you check my face and all the movements to make sure you're learning the proper Italian gestures. Andiamo! Let's go! What? Come on! Full of people. What do I care? I really don't give a shit. Look at that asshole. Enough. There's nothing left. So and so. Whatever. To eat. To drink water. To drink wine. Drink espresso. Perfect. Delicious. Well done. I swear. Slowly, slowly. Cut. I'll kill you. Get to the point. You're done. You're crazy. Are you crazy? Absolutely out of your mind. Are you gay? You're cool. He's a smart one. Stubborn. Such a snob. Blah, 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 blah. It's very expensive. It got stolen. What would I do to you? I hate you. I can't stand you. Let's get out of here. You get out of here. A long time ago. I'll beat you. Go away, your bad luck. Your wife is cheating on you. Yeah, they're into something. I think they are together. Keep calm, keep quiet. Haha, you got tricked. Having sex. He has a small penis. Take this. You're lucky. Ah, you're scared, huh? Haha, you got tricked again. See you later. Beautiful. Who knows? Let's hope. I am not responsible. It's not my business. If I catch you. Now let's look at some sentences. Hi, I don't speak Italian. I am looking for a restaurant because I'm hungry. I would like some spaghetti and drink some wine. Where can I go? Now, how much is that? Whoa, that's very expensive. Are you crazy? I think you're really pretty. Do you want to be together? Mwah! Those spaghetti were perfect. I was thinking to go to sleep. I don't know. So basically we can have a whole conversation without even moving our mouth. Do you still think we're crazy? So how do we learn all these gestures? Well, certainly not at school. Hand gestures are passed along from generation to generation of Italians, together with dialects, tradition, and an unmeasurable love for pasta. Now it's your turn. Put some Italian gestures into practice next time you talk to some of your friends, family, or colleagues, and see what they think of you. Also, let me know if in your language or dialect you have any special hand gestures that you want to share. Don't forget to subscribe.
Okay, so it was just a second. I think you can still watch my presentation. So the idea is like that. The teacher prepares a video or takes an external video and send the video to all the students, and that is their homework, to look at the video and to get familiar with the contents to be discussed within the classroom. So that's why the classroom and the typical way a lesson is held is completely flipped, because what was usually done within the classroom is now done at home, and the opposite with what was done in the class at home, which is done within the classroom. So in order to familiarize with this kind of methodology, I have chosen this kind of video, which can be your homework or something which has been produced by a teacher. So now you are the students, and I sent to you this kind of video, and your homework was to look at the video and to familiarize with the contents. That was your homework. Now we are in the classroom, and one of the possibility is to have a discussion about the contents or a debate about what has been the main contents of the video. So let's start with the discussion. Did you know about these typical Italian attitudes?
Yes, I've witnessed the use of hands quite a lot.
Okay. Any other?
I noticed them when in Italy, and they helped me with understanding Italian.
So you have seen within this video, as I should be the master of the contents, because me too, I use a lot the hands, the gestures, and so on. And I would say it is even more used as methodology in the south part of Italy than in the north, because in the south we tend to use even more the hands and the gestures. And we have seen some gestures which are, I would say, typical about Italian people. Can you consider some hand movements or gesture which can be conceived as universal one. Think about that. Something which is universal and you can use it whenever and wherever in any country. Okay, thanks, Zori.
Okay, the sign for okay can
Perfect.
be universal.
Yeah. And this one?
Fear.
Yeah,
Okay.
money, money, money.
Ah, money.
Okay, that is an example. So we have been discussing about the content. This was the activity to be done within the classroom because you already had a kind of knowledge. Okay, the topic was quite simple and it also was quite funny, and this was done on a purpose because I didn't want to bother you with something which could have been quite boring and demanding in order, in terms of level of attention though. So I have been choosing something I am familiar with and something which could have been quite easy for you. But anyway, you can think about using this kind of methodology. So using a video and then discuss, using the classroom as the best moment to discuss, to ask to students questions or doubts, and using the teacher using his or her knowledge about the argument to be not exactly a teacher, I would say a supervisor or someone who is able to manage the discussion within the classroom, the discussion or the debates. So for example, yeah, there is a spelling mistake, but it is a debate. Choose a representative from each partner country who will have 2 minutes to develop his or her arguments in reply to the following questions. How does it work in your own country? Is there any gesture from the video which has a familiar meaning in your country? And is there any gesture you consider as specific of your country? So, for example, I don't want to split the meeting in several rooms, but we can discuss or have this kind of debates all together. So I would ask a representative from Bulgaria, Greece, and so on to reply to those questions. Please don't be shy.
Antonio, just a second. Are we supposed to look at your presentation?
No, I can close this. I can, yeah, because maybe it is better to, because there is no other slide to be seen. So I will stop.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it is easier like this so that we can see each other. And if you want, I will repeat the questions that I put in the debate exercise. So a representative from Bulgaria, from Greece, from Portugal, please. From Romania. And Ralu can be
blah, blah,
representative. Okay.
The blah, blah, blah stuff, which we share. We also have this.
Okay.
And probably this one, which means you are nuts.
Okay.
Similar.
English. Move away the bad luck.
Okay.
Like this.
Yeah.
Finger crossed.
Yeah, but we do like this. We the fist. We clench the fist like this.
Okay.
And we say we hold our fist for luck.
So some other gestures which are typical in your country and that you didn't see in the video that we saw together.
I think that Vasilis.
That's cool. I love that.
Okay. Thanks, Jose.
I will speak as a Greek because I don't know. I'm sorry. Vasilis will agree that we have a characteristic movement, which is not very good also. I don't know if I should do it, Vasilis, or not.
Anyway,
this is actually...
Open and stand. It's very bad. This is very bad movement.
Very bad, yes. But
okay.
Okay.
Okay. But not to do it like this, not to say hello, but to keep it like this.
Okay.
In front of the face of another person.
It means...
Yeah, it's very bad.
It's very bad, actually. It's really bad because it has a very bad also proven origins, because it meant that I wish you to lose your 5 senses. Now in the modern times, we don't know this meaning so much anymore, but we do it when we want to say bad things to someone and really insult him, so it's not...
But just if Ralu allows me to say that if we are among friends and we say, okay, we say funny things. Okay, many times we use it. If I say something that I consider it is funny and you think that it is not funny, then you can do it to me. That
yes,
you are out of how to say, out of the mood of the company.
But if you do it while you are driving and someone annoys you and you do this out of the window, it's not very good.
Any other suggestion from the other countries?
I think that we also do like this for like done.
Okay.
We also do crazy. Obviously we do the money one, like, or how much it costs. I think our famous one is the nod, the head movement for yes and no, which is
the other way around.
Something that you pointed out a couple of meetings ago. And speaking of the offensive ones, you know, like this is usually peace and like go in peace.
Yeah.
You could never do it the other way in the UK, for example. Very bad.
Yes, exactly.
I think the middle finger is universal.
Also,
I think that's quite universal, yes.
Any other suggestion?
When you do this to a child in Bulgaria and you pat them on the head, that's a nice thing and that you're being caring and right, Zori? Yes, but in India and in generally in Buddhist cultures, it's a big no-no.
Okay.
You cannot do that.
As you can see, the topic was quite, I wouldn't say not important, it was quite funny, but doing like that, so allowing the students to approach to an argument to be discussed through a video. And today, I would say students watch a lot of videos all day long. And again, it should have a specific length, no more than 12 minutes, according to the researchers. But anyway, approaching the students to a topic and then using the classroom as a space to discuss, to debate, to ask for their participation and their involvement can be a kind of successful strategy in order of teaching and learning. So this is more or less the flipped classroom.